Good morning, my scrappy friends. I am hopping on this morning to do our weekly challenge hour live. We're on challenge 23. Can you even believe it? I am in shock how fast this year is going. So if you are on, please say hello. If you're watching the replay, let me know that you watched the replay by commenting replay or just say hi, either one. I'm trying to pull it up once again on my phone. There we go. That way I can see your comments. And sometimes the comments work, sometimes they don't. I'm upstairs, far away from the internet, so that's in the process. All right, so like I said, we're working on challenge 23 this week, which is nuts because I'm realizing we're about halfway through the year, which makes sense. So school let out for us yesterday, finally. We're like one of the last ones in the area to finally get out for summer. So my daughter's downstairs, so she's loving life right now. But we are going to go through this. I'm actually scrapbooking part of my Mexico trip this year with this. This is the Paradise Found collection. This is from the old Boho Escape. I love this paper, so I keep saving like scraps of it. And I'm slowly dwindling on this one, and I love it. I hope it comes back someday. So I'm using a piece of that, and then a couple of the Paradise Found, which was available to the Cancun Achievers only. There were some floating around out there for sale. I had a few of these bundles for sale. However, I no longer have any. People snatch those right up. I'll get my hands on more though. Let me know if you're looking and I can, let you know. But I'm gonna be working with that. So if you don't recognize it, that's why. And I'm doing the pictures. We took some group pictures. This is the whole group that earned a trip, which is so cool. This is a mix of wild cards like myself and like the highest achievers who, blew it out of the water. And so they're in there. This is kind of my upline and our entire team, like the branches off, kind of like the extended team, I guess, like the extended family. And then this is my group with my upline, just our team. So this is like the immediate family, right? So what's cool about Creative Memories, it's not like a market, what do they call that, an MLM, a multi-level marketing. It's not that at all because you have one line that you're worrying about. Like I'm not worried about my team members, and so on. So all I worry about are my team members. So I love that because it's not like this big, pyramid that you're working with. And it's very straightforward, like what you're making, what you're doing, who's on your team. You don't have to worry about beyond that. So and I love my upline because she does like trainings and is way more eloquent at that than I am, and the people on her extended team. So it's cool because we all work together, but nothing affects our pay. So it's really cool. So I love that about Creative Memories. Plus the no quotas thing. That's pretty awesome too. So if you want to know more, I'm going to do a little plug for my team later on in this video, obviously, because that's what I'm working on. So I've been trying to get more people to sign up in June. This is kind of a deadline in June because one, you are more able, it's easier for you to earn the incentive trip to Jamaica next year if you sign up by June. Just because you have the rest of the year to build a team, to, if you want, and to, work your business, get your sales. And when you start at level 0, it's so much easier to earn trips, you guys. It's crazy. So, I like to coach you guys through that. I'm getting better at coaching. So we're getting there, so it's fun. So if you're interested, let me know. It'd help me out. It'd help you out. But we'll talk more about that later. So we are working on our challenge, as I said. And this one on the CM blog did not have a set of instructions. It was an older virtual grop challenge that was literally like, here's your layout, like do this. And there wasn't much description for it. It didn't say like, use this size and this size. So I kind of eyeballed it and looked back to find some instructions from other advisors, and just kind of wrote my own. So these are on my blog if you want to pull them up. This page is not mine, obviously. This is from the lady who, I believe she was from Australia, who did this original layout, but I wrote the instructions per what I saw. So we're going to find out if they work. If they don't, I will tweak as I go. I have a pen right here and I'll re-upload the new ones. Okay. All right. So we're just going to work through these. I'm going to get my photos out of the way so I don't lose them. I've lost photos before working on top of them. All right. So the first step is we're using a sheet of 12 by 12 cardstock or paper for your base. I'm going to use this cute palm leaf paper. How adorable is that? And then I also put gut if you would like, because I love to gut my paper. I will literally cut a square out and make a frame. And so I still have, you know, the middle square left, because this paper is precious, you guys. Like, I can't get any more of this. And I am just starting with scrapbooking my Cancun trip. So I want to hang on to what I can. All right, so to gut, you're going to consider what size is going on top. So on top of this, in our next step, we have an 11 by 11 square going on top. So we need at least an inch frame, but you're going to want a little more because you need room to adhere that on there. So my suggestion is to cut 1.5 inches for this frame. So you're going to line your paper up, and I've talked about cutting before, so I don't want to go too deep into this, but just a reminder, you're going to line your paper up on 1.5 inches. Usually I do 1 inch, but this one, since it's wider, 1.5. All right, and you're going to shut your gate. I call it a gate. I don't know, guard, guide, I don't know. And then on the side of, you're going to see these numbers on your trimmer. You are going to move your thing without cutting yet, so you're not pushing down, to the 1.5. There's like a little white line on the side of this thing, of the housing here with the blade in it, and you're going to line it up on that one. All right, and then you're going to push it down and cut down to, mathing in my head right now, 10.5, I believe, right? Mathing and me, you know, we don't get along. And you're going to stop. All right, so when you pick it up, you're going to have this little slit cut, and then you're going to turn it and repeat. Now, if you go beyond the 1.5, or you cut too far, or you accidentally cut all the way through, it's happened, y'all. It's okay. This is easily remedied. It's happened to me before because I wasn't paying attention or thinking, and I was like, why did I just do that? Oh my goodness. And it's easily fixable, so don't worry. All right, so you're just going to keep repeating that. Turn it, line it back up onto 1.5. Line this back up on 1.5, down to the 10.5. Okay. And if it doesn't cut all the way through in a corner, that's okay. You can go back and trim it with your scissors. And last one, 1.5. I think it's easier in the last one because you can see where the cuts are now, so I don't have to look as hard for that line. And like I said, if you go beyond it, it's okay. All right, so I have a couple I need to trim. Oops, just throwing tools around over here with my micro tips. Love these. All right, so I'm just gonna carefully trim where these didn't cut all the way through. Okay, there we go. So now I have this piece I can save. I can, you know, map photos on it later if I want. Right now I'm just gonna set it aside, and I'm gonna work with this piece. I'm gonna put this back in the sheath so I don't cut myself. All right, so this is what we have left. Now, if you do accidentally cut all the way through, it's fine. So what you're gonna do, like if you were to cut through, I love tape chips for that reason. They don't get talked about enough, so people don't realize the value of them. They just think they're annoying, you know, tape runners, and they actually do more than that. So like, say I cut through this, I would take a tape chip, line it back up, and put it on top. Now this is on the back side, right? And you only have to peel one side of it. Now, if you're sticking this to something else, you can peel up the other side. So really, it's like a double-sided tape you can use, and it's perfect for putting seams back together, putting things together. It's great for mats. If you saw my mat video yesterday, that was yesterday, right? What day is it? I don't even know. School's out, and I have no idea what day it is. So they're great for that. I don't think tape chips get enough credit, and I get people don't always like them, or they just don't prefer them. That's okay, because a lot of people also, what you could do, like say you cut through, take your tape runner and go over it, and obviously it's gonna be sticky, and then you take like a piece of scrap and you like rip off a little piece and put it on top, right? So you could do that too. I've seen people cut stickers, like the middle part of the stickers, and use those. I'm trying to pull some out here. Like say I used, sorry, I'm going to like a really in-depth conversation about, you know, putting paper back together. Say I use this sticker, I could cut right here, peel that off, and this is like a little sticker I can use. It works like a tape chip, really. So you could do that too. I've seen people use very creative ways to put papers back together that they've accidentally cut apart, okay? So it's easily remedied. Don't worry if you screw your frame up and you're trying to gut. Besides, practice makes perfect. So you can just keep practicing. And if you mess one up, it's okay, you know? All right, so our next thing, we're gonna cut a sheet of paper to 11 by 11, and that's gonna go on top of here. There's a mat underneath that big square on here, and I'm guessing that's 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. It looked just narrow enough, and I wasn't peeking out too much. And so for that, I am using, this is going to be my top piece, but I'm going to mat it on this black piece, okay? So for that, again, I can gut my black piece. We're going to just do a lot of gutting today, but I still need an 11 1/4 by 11 1/4. So first, before I gut, I am going to cut this down to the appropriate size, because I have done it before where I gut first, and it's like, oh, I need to cut this down smaller, and then it was really weird and didn't work. So always cut it to size first, all right, if you're going to gut it. If you're not going to gut it, don't worry about it, just cut it to size. I like to save my paper, and I'm going to mat my photos on black as well, so I might as well, you know, gut this and have it. So for this one, it's a very narrow frame. I could almost do a 1/2 inch on it. I am more comfortable doing at least an inch, so I'm going to do an inch, just because I want enough space to, you know, adhere on top of it. So we're doing it the same exact way we did our first frame. We're just starting at the inch line instead every time. All right, so we're putting at the inch line, lining this up at the inch line, and since it's 11 1/4, I have to go to 10 1/4, right? Yes, I'm gonna put my head down here so I can see where my blade's stopping. And again, if you cut all the way through, if you cut it wrong, easily fixed, just the same way as I told you with the other one. So frames are pretty across the board for mending. 1 inch and 1 inch down to the 10 1/4, because remember, our paper is 11 1/4, not exactly 11. Okay, 1 inch again, 1 inch again, 10 1/4. I don't know if I pushed hard enough on that one. Back up one more time. Yeah, I didn't push hard enough. There we go. Okay. Oops, didn't line that up right. There we go. It's hanging up on something. 1 inch, last one. And this one I can see the cuts pretty well, so I'm not gonna. If you get to the point on your trimmer where you feel like you have to push really hard, this one I just flipped. But remember, it's not your blade, probably, it's your mat. So if you didn't know, the CM 12 by 12 trimmer, oh my gosh, I'm moving from. You get this little strip, and you can flip this thing 4 ways. This was my first one. I used that one up pretty quick, cutting up scrappy camp stuff. Second one, you know, you flip it, and then you flip it over, go to number 3, they're each numbered, so you know which number you're on, and right now I'm on 4. So I know I need to have a backup one when I'm ready to switch it. Now, the funny thing is I've never actually changed my blade, and maybe I'd have it's starting to feel duller, so I probably need to change it, but I have to push this in really hard. There we go. You don't want it sliding around, so you want to make sure you push it in good. There we go. As I ruin my frame. So yes, take note, it might not be your blade, it's probably your mat. Okay, flip your strip, because a lot of people don't know that even flips, and that you can have like a practically a whole new trimmer when you change that thing around. So it's like a brand new cut, and if it's not, change your blade. All right, you're supposed to change the blade every time you change your mat, like the whole strip. I have not. I'm a penny pincher, you guys. So I have pushed it, but I think I'm nearing the end of the blade. I have had this trimmer for, oh my goodness, it was before COVID. I love that we like classify things pre and post COVID. Now, in our day and age, it was before COVID I got this trimmer. So, and I have not changed a blade like once. So it's probably time. So that's probably what I need to do. And I do have an extra one housed under here in my little trimmer stash. All right, so I am ready to go if I need it. All right, so we have our next frame. It looks crazy. I'm like, did I do that right? But I just realized because it's more narrow. We're gonna cut this piece to an 11 by 11. All right. So this is a piece that's like this dark blue, darker blue on top of their light blue. We're gonna cut that to an 11 by 11. If you guys are commenting, I'm so sorry. I haven't gotten any comments through, and I'm guessing it's the Wi-Fi. With my daughter home, she's of course, you know, watching videos and stuff, and that's okay. I will catch up later. If you are commenting and I'm not seeing them, I apologize. Summer is gonna be an interesting beast for us, so in terms of the Wi-Fi situation. Okay, so there we go. Look at that. So now what I'm gonna do, put these away. I'm gonna take, and what I like to do with frames especially, I think I'm gonna mat my top layer on first and then put that on top of this frame. So I'm gonna get my mini tape runner, and this is one of the few times I use my mini tape runner. And these fit, you know, just like your regular, it's just a different color. And they're like a narrow little strip. They're perfect for this. And I'm gonna use this to go just around the inside of my frame. I could go wider on this one. I can tell this frame's gonna be perfectly wide enough, but some of my frames are very narrow, and I like to use the mini tape runner because it hugs that edge tighter. So, and then I'm gonna center this on my frame. I just like to use a mini because I know it's not gonna pop out of the edge on me. Like the wider one might surprise me later. Okay. All right. Lining things up is so hard for me, and I'm actually pretty impressed by that. All right, and then we're gonna take our next frame. Like, this one's all about the frames, y'all. That's great. All right, this one, it looks pretty wide actually, so I am going to try my wider one just to show you guys, hey, it can work too. I think I'm about to run out. I can tell it's getting to that point. But remember, you're gonna wanna do the corners really good and hug as tight as you can to that inside piece there. Okay. And then we're gonna center as best as we can. You know what, I probably could have even cut this smaller now that I'm looking at this. This frame looks a lot wider than this one, so it's okay. We're still gonna get the same vibe. Like I said, I was flying off the handle, or off the cuff. Yeah, I was so angry. No, I was, you know, flying off the seat of my pants trying to figure out how to do this layout, so I guessed a lot. And, you know, it might be 11 by 11, I don't know. So it looks fine to me. So we can adjust it if you want, but I'm fine with this. So, all right. So next we're gonna do our border, and that's this cute little polar bear down here. We're gonna use the mandalas because it's Yell's tropical, you know. And I have a scrap of black over here I'm gonna use for that. And to do this, I'm actually gonna punch my border first because I need to use the other side for the background, or figure out if I need another piece of black I need to go dig out. I'm hoping this will work for both. So I'm gonna move this over here. And we're gonna start by punching it out. This one I'm gonna have to cut off when I'm done because this is an edge border, meaning it's not a chain like the polar bears is. It is stuck on your paper still on the edge when you're done. So it doesn't come off like a chain. So that to me is an edge border. And so I love these border punches because you just put them in and like a punch. And then you slide them. I should do this the other way so you guys can see it better. I'm doing this backwards on my angle. You slide them this way, line it up in the blue, keeping it tight against the edge. Line it up again. And then you just keep sliding it down until you have a border. And these are great because they're standalone. You don't need the border maker system to use them. There's like a little tiny piece in there. I'm just gonna rip off. So there we go. So you can just make borders with these without needing anything else. So love my border punches. I love the border maker system as well. I just think they're really cool, innovative tools, and they're pretty swell. So, all right, so then I'm gonna take my trimmer again, using my straight blade this time. We're gonna switch to the wavy in a second. Actually, maybe not, I haven't decided yet. All right, and I'm just gonna cut this as close to the edge of the border as I can without cutting, like making it fall off too much, you know, having the pieces fall out. So, and you can do a test run. There's these little guides you can pull out to make sure you're not going to cut too far in. And I love them because I cannot line up things to save my life. All right, so I have my little piece left here. I'm hoping it's wide enough. I think it is. It is 1 inch. Let's see, how big does this have to be? Cut a strip. That's 1. Okay. So this has to be 1 1/4. Plenty of room. All right. So now I think instead of wavy, because this one calls for wavy, I'm going to use decal. I love decal. Sorry, you guys, I can see that you're seeing my head sometimes, the top of my head sometimes in the camera. I apologize. I don't like doing that, but obviously it happens when you're scrapbooking. So I love my decal edge, and that's why I love this trimmer too. You can get different edges from one trimmer. Just switch out the blade. So easy. And it has like this really cool random torn look to it. It's my favorite one. All right, this one needs to be 1 1/4. Hopefully that's correct. If I want a wider edge, I could go 1 1/2. Maybe I'll start with 1 1/2 because I want the decal to really stand out. So the instructions call for 1 1/4. I'm going 1 1/2. I have the room for it. And then I try to switch my blade right away. That way when I go to do, crop a picture or something, I don't have my decal in there. I have my straight blade. So always do that right away because I have forgotten before. And oops, I trimmed my picture with a wave instead of a straight. All right, so there's that. And then on top of that one, I'm really hoping this is going to work okay. I'm a little nervous. It should be okay. I am going to cut a strip of this at 1 inch. Right, it's 1 inch per my calculations, so who knows if that's right. Looks so narrow, you all. Oh my goodness gracious. It's making me nervous. This is gonna butt right up against the edge. This video is definitely a trial and error for this layout, because, ooh, you know what? I might go 1 1/4 inches. I'm a little nervous going that small. So we're going to go 1 1/4 on this one. I have 1 inch on my instructions. I'll probably adjust that and re-upload the new version. Yes, I like that better. And then I had made this 1 1/2 inches. So we have, okay. So just to go back over this. This one I made 1 1/2 inches. I called for 1 1/4 inches on here. I'm going to go ahead and change that. And it might work fine with your border, whatever you use. You can also use a sticker border, in which case 1 inch would have been fine for this. So I just used a wider border, I think. So you could make it any size, just eyeball it and make sure the strip you cut is going to work with your border. Maybe do your border first and then cut your strip. So we are doing, to create your border, cut a strip of paper. I had that as 1 1/2. So I'm going to change it to 1 1/2. And again, I will re-upload the instructions on my blog. This one I had as 1 1/4. Is that right? Yeah, it must be. And then my border is probably about 1 inch wide or so. So that's going to vary, obviously. So I'll make sure to upload those updated instructions for you. In case you're vibing with what I'm doing. If you're doing your own thing, great. That's awesome. Okay. Let's set some of this aside. Clean up a little bit here. Still don't see comments, so again, I apologize if you guys are commenting. If not, that's cool. No worries. I am not seeing anything, so chat is quiet on my end, and it might just be because of my internet, and I apologize. If that's the case, I will go back and check and comment back any replies to your questions. Sometimes when I'm streaming, my internet's like, whoa, this is all I can do right now. Sorry. And there is this little excess hanging off here. That's called a necessary allowance in cardstock world. Cardstock mills have to cut them apparently that size. So there might be a little edge hanging off, and that's okay. It never bothers me at all. I just cut it off or I leave it. Whatever. All right. So now I have to decide. Like on here, it's kind of covering up the seam. I could go up here more. I think I like it covering the seam more. So this is an easy way to make a border as well. Just cut strips and, you know, texture one of them on the edge, like with your decal or your wave, and then punch out a border or use a sticker and put that on. Voila. Need my silicone mats. Alright, so I'm going to use Repositional tape runner on this, and I love this because I use it every time. It only sticks to this, and they're like little clear dots that get in the little nooks and crannies of these tedious designs. Because like if you use this, it's going to be this big, you know, piece, and it can work, but you can't just, you know, you have to like sit there and actually figure it out. You could use mini. I've seen people use mini on these, but again, a little tedious, you know. So I love Repositional, and yes, it is Repositional for a little bit. So it's a great tool to have in your tool belt. I plug it every video, I think, because I use it every video. Alright, so there we go. Look at that, our border's done. So fun. Alright, y'all, what's next? It's coming along lovely. Alright, we have, okay, so step 4, right? Create the banner ribbon by cutting a strip of paper to 2x4. Alright, so we're talking about this up here. You know, I didn't think through what I actually wanted to do for this. I think I'll just use this in the black again, actually. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I do know I want to probably matte these on black as well, but obviously this piece is gonna be too small for all of them anyway. So I'm gonna have to get another piece of black, and that's okay. All right, so the top piece is gonna be 2x4. And it's very hard for me to cut into this paper because I love it. How wide is this? Is 4? Nope, it's just under 4. So we are gonna cut 2 this way. I like this. Down to 4. And again, I'm trying to save this paper so much because I love it. And so I'm gonna line up into 4. And cut like this. There we go. It looks so much bigger than on there. I wonder if that's the right size. It's just interesting to me. We're gonna make it work. It'll be okay. Makes me rethink that whole circle size too right now. So, okay. So then the bottom piece is gonna be just a 1/4 inch bigger. So what I'm gonna do, got this at 2 1/4. Yeah, I just said slightly larger if you want that. I'm just gonna cut all the way down. And then 4 1/4. Oops. Okay. So it's gonna look kind of like that, which to me seems like it's fatter and shorter than that one, but that's okay. Maybe that's what we're gonna roll with. Maybe I'll adjust those too. We'll see. Obviously, I'm already adjusting other things. So again, I'm going to take my scissors, and a tip I usually do, although this one is a thicker paper, I will fold slightly, very delicately, corner to corner on one side. And you can pinch in the middle there. Actually, micro tips might work better. But you want to make sure everything's together. And you're going to start with the corners that are together and cut up to the middle where it's folded. So like that, right? And that's how you make an easy, quick banner. And again, that's so fat and stout. That's okay. You might adjust that as well. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Perfect. And then you can mat it like so. And mine's looking a little different because, of course, I cut my V's a little different. But again, stuff like that doesn't bother me. Now, if you want them level with each other, you could measure them like on your trimmer. And like say this is a 2 inch, right? So you're gonna put it on your trimmer at the 1 inch and then make like a mark and then turn it and then cut from the corner to the mark on one side and, you know, so on. Same thing with this. Put it in the center, make a mark, and it'll be more even. I just like to get things done quickly, and I don't really mind if it looks different because I think it adds a little more appeal. Just because I'm like, oh yeah, handmade, love it. So And that might sound like a cop-out, but it's not. I actually love when things look rough around the edges. So, all right. All right, there we go. So that's going to go up in that area. Perfect. And you can add a circle. I don't want to add a circle at this point, just because I have a different title idea. But if you were to add a circle on here, I said the medium, and I'm starting to think maybe not. Actually, the medium looks right. It's this border, or the flag, that looks off to me. So I would use the medium circle, and then use, what did I say? Use a red blade, and then, yeah, they use a sticker in the middle, so I said no, put a sticker. So the red blade's gonna cut a bigger version of that. If you want to layer, like, you know, a piece of the black, use your red blade, get a piece of like a designer paper, and then use your green blade and cut one slightly smaller and then layer them on top. I'm not gonna do that because that's not the direction I want to go, but you can if you want to follow this. So hopefully that's helpful. If not, holler at me and I can give you further instructions on that. Okay, so before I put this down, I'm gonna go ahead and put my photos on. And again, I was ballparking that these photos were 4x6. I go back and forth constantly on that because I'm like, they look more square than a 4x6. Like there might be more like a 5.5 by 4, you know. I'm not gonna trim mine down. I mean, I could if I needed to. Let's see. This is the indecisive me coming out. It's great. Y'all love that part of me. Yeah, I mean, I could trim them down, but I like the layering look. And it's hard to layer if I have to trim them down, I guess, because there's nothing to cover, right? So I might go that route on these. I kind of like that look. So we're going to go ahead and just mat these. And these are actually true 4x6s. I got those from my Mexico trip. So I could actually measure mats, but yeah, you know me. I love measuring, but not really. So I'm going to do 4 1/4 and then 6 1/4, I think. 6 1/4. Actually measuring, how amazing. I usually just do the Ashley method, which is just putting the pictures right on there and then cutting them out. But you know, we'll do the proper way this time. And then 6 1/4. I'm gonna need one more piece of black, but we'll get these on first and then I'll go digging for some more black. I'm trying to watch time too, because I feel like time is flying. It's 10:30, so we're good. I don't like to leave you guys on here too long. Definitely not more than an hour. An hour is like my max, but even earlier is better because, oh my goodness, you guys, I didn't push that down hard enough. There we go. That should stay. Okay, and it doesn't really matter what I put on. They're all going to be on black, I think, eventually. I love how elegant and fun this page is going to look. Such a fun collection for this, and I can see why CM like designed it this way for our trip because it's very Mexico feeling. All right, I gotta go looking for another piece of black. Hold on a moment. Da-da-da. That one's probably too. I like to use like scraps when I can. That one's definitely too thin. Let's see. I just had to order more black, as a matter of fact, because I realized I was out of black. So I know I have some, it's just over there. Let's see here. Alright, there we go. And I hate cutting into a whole piece just to mat a photo, but that's okay. I will put it in my little scrap folder over there. Scrap as in, you know, pieces that aren't whole. And we will use it for another time. I like to mat photos on black, so it's not a big deal. But I'm cutting into a whole piece because I probably will eventually anyway. And then 6 1/4. Look. that. Perfect. All right. Hello, Lisa. I'm glad you're on. Someone sees me. I was wondering if I couldn't see comments because my internet is iffy up here and it had been a minute since I'd seen anyone. So I'm glad you're on. Thanks for joining. All right. So we're just going to mat this last photo. Yay. Okay. I'm trying to remember how I had this. This one I had kind of straight. I'm about to run out of tape runner. I can see the orange. Oh, it's coming. It's funny because I feel like I've run out like the last few videos because I'm always like right there. I've been doing a lot of pages lately. I'm doing a summer scrappy camp right now. It's all virtual. I have 20 ladies in it. 19, 18, I don't know. I had some join and then some, you know, join last minute. So I'm trying to remember how many I actually have now. But it's a blast. We love it. The first week's always a little grueling because everybody's learning. But it's fun. I'm trying to decide what I want to do layering wise here. I think I'll do it that way. And there she goes. Another one down. Okay, so to change your tape runner, I feel like it does every video right now. That piece just came off, so I'm going to stick it on there. I'm going to pull it out. Oh, actually I have a partially used one here, so perfect. I taught a class and had to pull some out. And you're going to put your new one in. Perfect. Easy peasy. And you can switch it with, you know, Repositional or whatever. So you can literally have one of these cases and just switch what type of tape runner you want. It's pretty nifty. And now I'm trying to remember how this picture was supposed to be. I think something like that. I didn't push it down too hard in case I need to shift. Perfect. That should be fine. Lisa hears me. Yay. Glad to hear that. Haha. Sorry. All right. Here we go. And then this little guy, since I know where my photos are now, I'm going to go ahead and put him on there. And that's kind of where my title's going to go. Do I want that at the very top or do I want to, I kind of like it offset like that. I think that's cute. Kind of balances that border out too. All right. So that's pretty much the premise of this page. Lisa, I never get the hang of the tape runner. It is a little bit of practice. So my tip is, this is a slide right here. If you always put that at the bottom, and then there's like this little wheel up here, this slide. And then if you want to break it off, twist your wrist. So if you twist your wrist, it'll break the segment off. So I told someone that once, they're like, oh, and they'd been using tape runner for years. So make it look so easy. Yes. I've been wielding this thing for years. It's fun. So it just takes practice sometimes, but some are more fickle than others. I will say there's sometimes when the tape runner is just like, and I'm like, what the heck? And so it might not be you. It could be the tape runner. In fact, it probably is sometimes. So yeah, it's just practice. Just using it forever. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and decorate. Oh, the white thing at the top. So say I used it and like a bunch came off and all of a sudden I don't have any anymore. It's like deep in there. You use it to crank it so it'll bring more out. So that's what that's for. I hardly have to use that, but once in a while, like if I'm rolling along and a bunch comes off and all of a sudden it's blank, like because a bunch came off, I roll it and then just slightly roll it and then more will crank out. So yeah. Answer any questions you need. I would love to explain all the tools. It's so much fun. All right, so I'll go ahead and do some embellishments here. We have a little time, which is great. A lot of times I sign off when I go to do the embellishments because I'm so indecisive, as you guys know. I'm just like, maybe that or that. I don't know. So for my title, I have a lot of options here. And again, these are from the Advisor exclusive Trip people who went on the incentive trip. This collection's from that. So sorry, I can't get a hold of them anymore. I sold a few. You're welcome, Lisa. And yeah, they're hard to come by now. So I do still have a pod available that has songs on it, but other than that, do not anymore. So I'm gonna look through these and see if there's a good title or something, because I always wing this part. It's kind of funny. So I could put like Cancun, but we stood by the sign. I kind of want to save that for that. Some like fun monkeys. I think I saw a monkey from afar, but I'm not for sure, so I can't claim that. We were like driving around one day and stopped somewhere, and I was like, is that a monkey? And it just like skittered off, so I couldn't tell. So I might be able to use that, we'll see. Day in Paradise. So these are just some fun embellishments I got with that collection. I don't really like any of those for title. A lot of these are just little things. So I'm gonna look through this. I actually have another set of these stickers. I just like to use up what I have and then open a new set if I need it, because I don't want to repeat stickers too much. We made it. That's cute. Okay, this is gonna be like a subtitle. I think that's fun. And when in doubt, because sometimes I'm like, where do I put this? I look at the example and I'm like, oh, they put some embellishments here and down here, and obviously the title up here. I think I want to put this guy right here, because that's like the whole group, and we're all like, we're so excited to be there and earn this trip, and it's such an accomplishment, you guys. It's so cool. I just loved it. Let's see. So they did a circle thing here. I could do that here, but I don't know. I always have trouble like with titles and stuff until like I can really think about it, and then I'm like, celebrate good times. That's cute. Well-earned vacation. Okay, so I'm gonna do this off camera, I think, because I want to rifle through all these too, and it's gonna be a minute. And then I have some past stickers I'm gonna look at as well. And I don't want to keep you guys on here like all day, like that's crazy. But I will say, what's cool about this page is that, like I said earlier, this is all the people that achieved this trip, were able to go out of advisors, which there are, you know, I don't know how many advisors in the world, but thousands, I think, of advisors, and this is who earned it and got to go. I had the privilege to be drawn, so I earned wildcard tier, which is like the bottom tier you can earn to go on an incentive trip, which means, you know, I signed at least one advisor who hit level 2 and made so much in sales and whatever. So it's just like the bare minimum to sneak in. And then out of all those people that earn wildcard, they draw 20 advisors only. And there are a few hundred in that list. And I got drawn last year and this year, which is insane. So it's just crazy, and I'm so blessed that I was able to go and hang out with my team and just have a blast. And I said earlier too in this video that joining my team right now is a great move, because if you join by June, it helps me out, and then you know, by end of June, it also is a great place to start. If you're a new advisor, you could easily get in that wildcard tier next year, if not higher, because starting from 0 is where it's the easiest, right? Because you're starting from 0, you don't have this rolling balance going on, and you can like build up your sales pretty quickly, especially if you're already scrapbooking with, you know, a couple ladies or friends. So it's really neat, and I just wanted to plug that. I'm doing this thing, you've probably seen it on my social media this month, called #JoinInJune, and this is kind of the details about it. I will post this too eventually this month, but it talks about, you know, what customers get versus what advisors get. And you guys, like, this doesn't even cover all the perks. Like, people are like, it's too good to be true, and I'm like, it is good and it is true, but it's not too good to be true, because it is true. So yeah, and I've talked to so many people who have worked in other businesses and like, oh yeah, I have to keep up a quota. I can't do that. That in fact, I need to get out of this because I have to pay like this much every quarter or every month. And I'm like, oh yeah, I wouldn't do creative memories if, you know, that were the case, because I don't want that stress. There are no quotas, and people are like, seriously, there's got to be something. And I'm like, nope, no quotas. I've been doing this for 13 years now and never had to deal with quotas. So that is such a relief, especially in months where I'm just like so busy, or I don't have the energy or time, you know, to work a business. And I think that scares people too. You don't even have to have a business, just reap the rewards yourself, you know. So if you buy scrapbook stuff anyway, and you are like, you know, you order it, you do whatever, you're probably going to benefit from being an advisor, because, you know, you're going to get commission back on what you buy. So, and at, you know, the advisor cost or whatever, you just get paid back the cost. So it's an awesome thing. I'd love to chat with you guys about it. It's really not scary at all. There's like no risk. I'm not a big risk taker, so that should tell you all you need to know. So yeah, I'd love to chat with you guys about that, especially in June here. If you join later, that's great too. So you can still work up to the next incentive trip, or even still Jamaica. There are people who have gotten it in a month, and I'm just like, whoa. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to finish this page and I am going to post the finished product for you with the title and other embellishments. On camera, it's a little overwhelming for me to do because I am super like indecisive anyway, and then I get all weird about it and I'm like, people are watching, oh my gosh. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you're on my YouTube, like and subscribe. If you're not on my YouTube, I highly recommend it because Facebook gets rid of these after 30 days, and so you can't go back and watch them later. However, they're on my YouTube all the time. So go on there and follow that. I will post that link later with the updated recording of this. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Holler at me with any questions whatsoever, and I will see you soon. Take care.